Hello everyone, welcome to Oliveboard. My name is Dinkar and I welcome all of you in this session. I hope everybody is doing great, feeling healthy and fine. So welcome to the new series of the Oliveboard that is called RBI Grade B 2023 Examination Top News Coverage. In this series, we will be discussing some of the very important top news that are happening throughout our country, and we will be just knowing the in-depth part of all these things. This is a very important series that we have started especially for the banking exam or for any other examination where the people are lacking some kind of conceptual clarity regarding these basics news. So that is why we have come up with this session, and very important news will be there in this. So whatever are going in the news or various articles, whatever is going throughout our country, that will be discussed over here. So first of all, we will be going topic wise. After that, we will be taking some more topics under that. So today, as you all know, that we have a topic on G20. So today, your all the concept regarding the G20 will be cleared, because people know that that G20 meeting is happening in our country. G20 meeting happens in the other countries every year. That happens. This keeps on going happening, but exactly people don't know from where this concept has started and how this concept have evolved over the time. So that is why we have decided that we'll be coming out with this series, so that people will be able to understand the things, what is the in-depth regarding all the work that is going on throughout our country. So once again, I welcome all of you in this session and thank you for joining the session. Before starting of the session, may I know how many people are there in the session? If they can just let me know in the chat box. They can just say hi, hello to me in the chat box, so that I may know you are here in the session. You can just give your identity to me if possible. I can see two, three peoples are there. Fine, no problem. Let other people also join the session. We will be just going ahead with our session. Okay, so let's start. So this is RBI Grade B 2023 exam top news coverage. We will be discussing today about the G20, right? And India's G20 presidency. What is there for G20? What is the future of G20 and how we are moving ahead in the G20, right? So we will be also understanding what is this G20, what is the significance behind this conception of G20, then what is this all about India, what India is going to gain in this. At the same time, see if you can see the logo of this G20, it has been written in various other things. So we will be also understanding the significance of these logo. Okay, so everything regarding the G20 you will be understanding with me over here, right? So we have Raghunath is here, and we have Arjun is here. Hello Raghunath, good evening to you. Hello Arjun, welcome to you. Good evening to both of you. Welcome to the session. So the concept of G20 started in 1999. Why only 1999? That we will coming to know, right? So you have to wait for it. So the concept of G20 started in 1999, and in the starting, this concept of G20 was based on the meeting between the finance ministers and the governor of the central bank, because this concept of G20 is specially being started just because there was a Asian financial crisis that has happened during that time. Okay, because of the Asian financial crisis that has happened in 1997. So because of that, the whole concept of G20 has came into being, right? Just give me 1 minute, please. I hope everybody can listen to my voice properly, right? Uh, is my voice is properly? You can just understand my voice, right? Just if anybody can confirm that my voice is clear and everybody can. Okay. Thank you so much. Just 1 minute. Okay, everything is good. Just give me one. Just give me 1 minute, guys. Thank you so much, Arjun. Thank you, Satyan. Thank you so much. Now we will be just going ahead with our session right away. Yeah. So the G20 concept came into being in 1999 because in 1997-98 Asian financial crisis has happened. So in order to make sure that these type of crises do not happen in the future, so the 20 biggest economy at that time, they have decided that they will be forming a group in which the Minister of Finance and the Governor will be meeting every year in order to discuss the various aspects of the economy and the world economy altogether. And if there is any kind of financial crisis that is coming into being, or if there is any kind of global economic issues that are coming, they can be easily solved between the various countries, right? So this G20 is a very, very premier forum of international economic cooperation. That means if you try to convince the people of the G20, then you don't have to convince any other organization, because these G20 countries are having 85% of the global GDP. These G20 countries are having 85% of the global GDP. 75% of the global trade that is happening is between these countries only, and they are having two-thirds of the world population. That means whatever is accepted by these is accepted by everybody. That is what is the whole concept is about. So under the G20, we have 19 countries. Then why G20? Because we have European Union also. Under that European Union, lot of countries are there under the European Union. So 19 countries and European Union. So that accounts to 20 members of that. So under that we can see that these are the biggest economy: Argentina, Australia, Brazil, Canada, China, France, Germany, India, Indonesia, Italy, Japan, Republic of Korea, Mexico, Russia, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, Turkey, then United Kingdom, United States. These are the biggest economies of the world, right? So if anything is accepted by this body, it will be accepted by everyone, right? So how this concept of G20 came into being, where I have already told you in the earlier slide, but now I'll be telling you in a more detail. In 1999, before that, there was a year of 1997 and 98. The world is crippled by Asian financial crisis. Okay, the exchange rate got collapsed, and because of that, the Southeast Asian country have went into the total disaster situation in their economy. So in order to prevent these kind of situation in the future, the concept of G20 has been launched in 1999. Okay, so it is going to be an informal meeting between the finance minister and central bank governor, right? So all the countries, all the industrialized country, all the developing economies, they will be coming at single place, and they will be discussing the major issues that are hampering the world and what can be done about that. So that has started in 1999. Then it went until 2008. So there was an important change that has happened in 2008. Now this G20 meeting has been elevated to the leaders level. Earlier, it was up to the level of finance minister and governors, central bank governor. Now it has been elevated to the leaders level. Now the head of the states will be also coming in this meeting. Okay, head of the states and the government, because in 2007 to 2009, financial crisis has happened, right? Because of that, world has went into recession. It started in USA when the Citibank started collapsing, right? So, in order to prevent these type of disaster in the future, the G20 level meeting has been elevated to the leaders level. So that means both the elevation that has happened and when the meeting got started, it is because of the crisis that has happened. In the first place, Asian financial crisis has happened. In 2008, it was the overall financial global economic financial crisis that has happened in 2007 and went into 2009. So that is why the thing is that now we need more and more robust working of one institution which will be helping us to deal with the various type of crises that are happening throughout the world. So that is why this G20 has been elevated to the leaders level, right? Now G20 summit always held annually, and this happens in the form of a rotating presidencies. जैसे अभी इंडिया के पास है, नेक्स्ट ईयर ब्राजील के पास जाएगा, इससे पहले इंडोनेशिया के पास था, राइट? सो रोटेटिंग प्रेसिडेंसीज. And the purpose of this G20 is they wanted to focus on macroeconomic issues. Earlier in 1999, it started with focusing on the macroeconomic issues. But later on, it has been expanded to the various other fields like trade, sustainable development, health, agriculture, energy, environment, climate change, and anti-corruptions. Okay, so because these are also the important topics which are hampering the world economy and the world peace. So since all the leaders are about 85% of the global trade and all the things which are happening between these countries, so these countries have a major say in all these activity, whether it is sustainable development, whether it is health, agriculture, energy, whatever it is. So whatever is decided over here is will be decided by the various other institution of the world. Now G20 does not have permanent secretary, right? They don't have their staff, they don't have the permanent secretary. So the presidency keep on rotating annually, and the country which is getting the presidencies will be having will be given the task of assigning all these tasks whenever these presidency is being given to the country. Like India right now is having the G20 presidency, so now India is going to provide all the staffs and secretariat for 1 year, right? So the G20 presidency rotate annually among the members. We have they have created a groups of country. So every year one group, under from the single group one country is selected. Okay, so 19 member countries are divided into 5 groups. Okay, 19 member country are divided into 5 groups, maximum of 4 countries each. If we see over here, group 1 is having Australia, Canada, Saudi Arabia, and United States. And group 2 is having India, Russia, South Africa, and Turkey. So only group 1 and group 2 are from the places which do not belong to the single place. Like Australia belong to some place, Canada belong to some other place, right? In group 2, India belong to some other place, South Africa belong to some other place, but they are put into the single group 1 and group 2. Rest other groups like group 3, group 4, and group 5, like if you see Argentina, Brazil, Mexico, from the same continent. Group 4, France, Germany, Italy, United Kingdom, from the same places, European Union. Then group 5, China, Indonesia, Japan, and Republic of Korea, from the same places. Okay, and European Union, the 20th member, is not a member of any of these regions. So from any of the group, one president is being chosen, right? Earlier the president was chosen from the Indonesia, right? And Indonesia belonged to the group number 5. Indonesia belonged to group number 5. Then presidency has been given to group 2, in which India has taken the presidency, and now next year 2024 the presidency will be given to group 3 and Brazil will be taking the presidency, like that. Okay. Now, each year, one group from different group assume the G20 presidency. India from Group 2 holds current presidencies from December 1st, 2022 to November 30, 2023. So India will be doing all the related work regarding this presidencies. Now, concept of troika, trioka. What is this concept of trioka? Trioka means we have selected three countries altogether in order to ensure the continuity of the presidency. मतलब continuity में कमी नहीं आनी चाहिए. In order to ensure the continuity of the presidency, so the future to presidency and before presidency, so it has been decided on the early, like three countries का पहले decide हो जाएगा. जैसे त्रियोका में right now we have Indonesia was there last year, then India 2023 and then 2024. This is called Trioka. Then again in the Brazil, the next summit will happen. Then there also again three countries will be there, under which Brazil will be the part of that, and for the next 2 years, that is 2025 and 2026, the country will be chosen. Okay, again the Trioka concept will be made over there. So current presidency, past presidency, and the next host country. That is the concept of Troika. Right? That is the concept of Troika. So how does G20 works? Now presidency has been given, everything is given. Now how does G20 work? G20 work based on two parallel tracks. One parallel track is finance track. Another parallel track is Sherpa track. Okay. So two parallel tracks under which one is finance and one is Sherpa track. So these finance and Sherpa track will be functioning on their individual level, and they will be working throughout the year. Sherpa track will be working on their own places, finance track will be functioning on their own places, and all the work of these finance and the finance track and the Sherpa track will culminate in the final summit. It will come into the final summit, right? Now, finance track will be headed by the finance minister and central bank governor, and Sherpa track will be led by a senior IAS officer who will be the nominee of the, who will be the personal emissary of the leader, like for Narendra Modi. Narendra Modi, our honorable Prime Minister of India, the senior IAS officer is going to be the Sherpa for our own country. That is similarly for all the 20 countries, there will be a Sherpa. Okay, for Indonesia, Sherpa will be there. For European Union, Sherpa will be there. For China, Sherpa will be there. So they all will be meeting throughout the year. Similarly, finance minister, central bank, they will be having a finance track. So from the finance minister of all the countries and the central bank governors of the countries will be meeting at the finance track. Okay. Then under these two tracks, there are various thematically oriented working groups. There will be thematically oriented working groups which will be working on the various relative or relevant ministries. Okay, they will be inviting various guest countries. They will be inviting various international organization, like a financial guy. Financial may you can call IMF people, World Bank people, right? In the Sherpa track, you can call the various type of sustainable development goal, United Nation, and all these things. Okay, so under Sherpa track, we have some different orientation working groups are there. Under the finance track, we have different orientation working groups are there. Okay, so Sherpas oversees the negotiation throughout the year, right? Whatever the negotiation they have to do throughout the year, the Sherpa organized with the other Sherpas, they talk with various other peoples of the other countries, they negotiate on behalf of our country, that is India. Okay, and when the final meeting that will be happening in November, these things will be put over to the leaders, and then the signatures and everything will be happening during that time. So all these agenda items and everything will be working at that time. Now, There are various engagement groups are there which will be working along with these tracks, like civil societies will be working, parliamentarians will be working, think tanks will be working, women, youths, labor, business, research, G20 countries. So under the Sherpa track, under the finance track, these type of engagement groups will be there. They will be working separately. They will be working separately and they will be providing reports to either finance track or either the Sherpa track. Okay. So for the Sherpa, from India, the Sherpa is Amitabh Kant. Okay. He's a senior IAS officer. Amitabh Kant is the Sherpa of India. And under the Sherpa track, he is a representative of the leader, and the focus area of the Sherpa will be on socio-economic issue like agriculture, anti-corruption, climate, digital economies, education, employment, energy, environment, health, tourism. So in all these fields, Sherpa will be negotiating along with their engagement groups, right? Then working groups like this. Agriculture have their own working group, anti-corruption. So if you see over here, focus area, for each focus area, we are having a working group. Okay, we are having a working group like anti-corruption working group, culture working group, development working group. If you are following my PIB lectures, you can see that every day some or other meeting of the working group is happening. Like in Indore, this working group meeting is happening. In Jaipur, this working group meeting is happening. In Bangalore, this working group meeting is happening. Okay, so there are like an agriculture working group, anti-corruption working group, culture working group, development working group, digital economy working group, disaster risk reduction working group. Out of that, development working groups is one of the most important, because in the developing working group, it discuss the very important issues related to the developing countries, all the least developed countries or the Iceland countries. So development working group takes the major responsibility of the developing countries, least developing countries. So this is like you are like a voice of global south. You are a voice of a global south, right? Then with the development working group, focus is on multilateralism. That means all the multilateral organizations that are there, like World Bank, IMF, all these things are there. They should be working in a similar way with all the countries. They should share the similar solution. They should share the promote the growth. They remap the development plans. They work on the sustainable development goals. They should not treat the least developing countries, underdeveloping countries in a totally different way. Okay, so priority of the development working group is that to promote the multilateralism, to share the common solutions, to achieve the sustainable development goals, right? They should share their knowledge, they share their expertise, financial resources, everything in order to achieve the common goal, common growth, common solution to the common problems, right? Now finance track. So that was the Sherpa track. Now finance track. Finance track is headed by our finance minister and central bank governor. If you can see here, Nirmala Sitharaman ji, Honorable Nirmala Sitharaman ji is the finance minister, and our Shashikant Das ji, Honorable Shashikant Das ji, is the head of the RBI, that is the governor of RBI. Okay, so they normally meet 4 times a year. Okay, and they also, so whenever there is a meeting of World Bank and IMF, during that meeting of World Bank and IMF, they also talk about this G20 meeting also. The focus area of the finance track will be obviously on the monetary policy places like fiscal policy, monetary policy, global economy, infrastructure, financial inclusion, financial regulation, international financial architecture, international taxation. So everything related to finance is worked over here in the finance track. Now, what are the working group that are there in the finance track? Obviously, all these finance related working groups will be there, like framing of working groups, international financial architecture, infrastructure working group, sustainable financing, global partnership and financial inclusion, joint finance and health task force, international taxation issues, and financial sector issues. All these things are there. These are the part of finance track working groups. For the Sherpa, we have working group then we have for finance track, we have working groups, right? So all these things is going parallelly throughout the year, right? Then various initiative along with these two tracks, the G20 is also working on various initiatives. Like first initiative is on research and innovation initiative gathering, that is RIIG. Main aim is that to promote the science and technology, to promote, intensify and strengthen the research and innovation, right? So this concept came into during the Italian presidencies in 2021. The major focus is that the world should work towards improvement in the science and technology, sharing the common goals, improving the innovation in the area and sharing the innovation with the member countries for the benefit of the people. Then G20 Empower is one of the initiative that is also going on. Okay, so this has started in Osaka when the summit has happened in 2019. Purpose is women leadership, accelerating the women leadership. So focus will be on women leadership, empowerment of the women leadership in the private sector, public sector, proper alliance with the business leader and government across the world. Then space, space sector is booming. Private space agencies are coming. Space economy is going to be increased, and you are going to see a exponential growth in this space economy, right? So under the G20 presidency of India, ISRO and Department of State will be organizing the fourth edition of the space economy leadership meeting. Okay, they will be launching a fourth edition to continue in the space research, shaping the space program, because space is a common area. Their collaboration is needed. So in order to enhance the space economy and global economy, collaboration is needed. So one more initiative that is called Space Economy Leadership Meeting has also been added over here. Then earlier edition was happened by the Italian space agencies, and we all know that the new space programs are going on and we have to move towards the economy responsibility and alliance towards the new space era. So that is why this is very important initiative that has been launched by our uh, G20 in order to work in these areas. Now comes engagement groups along with tracks, various tracks which are the part of the G20. There are some engagement groups are there. Okay, engagement groups are non-governmental participants. They are the non-governmental participants, right, who will be taking part in the G20 meeting. So if you have ever gone through my PIB lecture, I have normally said right now youth 20 meeting is going here, or women 20 meeting is going here, or urban 20 meeting is going on. So there are various type of engagement groups are engagement groups: civil, labor, parliamentary, science, supreme audit institution, SAI, startup 20, think 20, urban 20, woman 20, youth 20. So we all know that these are the important think area, because these are the new topics of the world: urban, startups, science, parliament, business, civil, everything. So, along with various tracks, this G20 focus on non-government participants also. These are the non-government participants. So, if you see here, business 20, civil 20, labor 20, parliamentary, science 20, SAI, startup, think, urban, women in 20. So, these are the non-governmental participants. They are again being part of engagement group, and they share their views and they share their knowledge with the various type of Sherpas. Okay. Now comes the India. That was general, what we are discussing. Now, India's presidencies. So, India got the presidencies from 1st of December 2022. And India has given a theme: one earth, one family, one future. That is Vasudevai Kutumbakom. Vasudevai Kutumbakom. Right? So G20 logo, first of all, we will be studying from where this G20 logo came into being. So if we see here in the G20 logo, we can see saffron color, green color, white color, blue color, everything is there, which totally denotes the national flag of our country with the lotus sign. flower that reflects the challenges, right? Earth that reflects the pro planet approach to life, harmony with the nature. And if we see Bharat, that is India, has been written in Devanagari script. And one earth, one family, one future, that is Vasudevai Kutumbukum. This Vasudevai Kutumbukum has been taken from the Maha Upanishad. Maha Upanishad, which is means earth is a single place. We share the earth with all. So that is why this is our one family, one earth, one family, and one future. So we all, like humans, animals, plants, microorganisms, we all are interconnected together in this wider universe. So that is why, in order to protect the earth, we need a life mission, lifestyle for environment, like how you can live in a sustainable life, how you can have a sustainable lifestyle choices, which led to the national development and the global transformation throughout the world. So that is the major logic behind the theme, behind the logo of these things. If you can see Maha Upanishad 6.72 verse, Vasudevaya Kutumbakam. Now, India has, this is a very important phase that in 2022 we have celebrated 75th year of independence, and on this year only we got the presidencies of the G20, that is called Amrit Kal. We have got that. So that means we have got the opportunities to lead the world. We have got the opportunities to lead the world. We can show the futuristic world, we can show the prosperous world, inclusive world, and developed societies to the world. This is the major thing. We have to utilize this opportunities in order to teach the people how things are going to be worked. We have seen that various type of 20 countries will be coming, but it is up to the country whether they wanted to invite some other countries also or not. So India has invited some countries and some international organization. So India has invited Bangladesh, India has invited Egypt, India has invited Mauritius, Oman, Nigeria, Netherlands, Singapore, Spain, and UAE. These are all countries which are very, very strategic to our economy and our security. So India has invited all these 9 countries for their G20 presidency, though they are not the part of G20, but India has invited them. Along with that, India has also invited some of the international organization like International Solar Alliance, Asian Development Bank, UN, IMF, WHO, WTO, ILO, FSB, OECD. Okay, like that, we have also invited some of the international organization in which India has a bigger say in that, right? So, priorities for India this year when India is having the G20 presidency. So, what priorities that India has kept with himself? There are 6 priorities that India has kept with himself: green development, climate finance and life, accelerated inclusive and resilient growth, accelerated progress sustainable development goals, technological transformation, digital public infrastructure, multilateral institution for 21st century, 3Fs, food, fuel and fertilizer, and women-led development. So these are the 6 priorities area which India is going to put in the G20 summit. So multilateral institution. So India will be continuing pressing for reformation of multilateral institution. Like India wanted to change the United Nations Security Council. India wanted to get into the permanent seat of the United Nations Security Council. In order to see the world is changing and everything is changing, so multilateral institution has to be responsive to that, so that they become very inclusive, equitable, representative, and multipolar for this 21st century. They should fit in the 21st century, right? Then woman led development, because if you are not developing the woman, that means you are leaving the half of the humanity behind. Okay, focus is on woman empowerment. That is the core of India G20 deliberations. Women should lead the leading position. Socio-economic development of the women should happen. Sustainable development goals has to be prioritized. That is why India has preponed their targets to 2025. Major targets are being achieved by 2025, that India has done, because most of them are women related, and India wanted to remove various type of problems that are faced by the women by 2025. Then Jan Bhagidari activities, University Connect program, various institutions, educational institution, archaeological survey of India, all these things, like Hornbill festival we are celebrating, Hornbill festival we are celebrating. Okay, various beaches and everything we are celebrating everywhere. So that is why we wanted to take the help of the woman. We wanted to promote the woman in all these areas so that they take the leadership position in all these areas. Then, accelerated, inclusive, and resilient growth. Growth should happen in an accelerated way, in a resilient way, in an inclusive manner. Okay, so that structural transformation can happen. Proper structural transformation can happen. MSME can grow, global trade can grow, and proper say of the least development countries, developing countries, all these countries can get a better say in the field of labor welfare, skill. So we wanted to promote the labor welfare. We wanted to remove the global skill gap. We wanted to build inclusivity at each and every places, and proper food system should work, because African countries, African countries are the countries which are worst affected by the Russia-Ukraine war. So we have to work on that. If any kind of situation happens like that, no country should suffer like that. Then progress of the sustainable development goals by 2030, because COVID-19 has killed 2 to 3 years of the people. So we wanted to accelerate the growth. India is already accelerating the growth, so that is why we need to focus on total 17 goals in a proper way, and we have to achieve 169 targets in that. We have to make sure that we should recover from the COVID-19 as soon as possible and work toward our sustainable development goal criteria. And technological transformation and digital public infrastructure. We all know that digital public infrastructure like DigiLocker, Aadhaar, eKYC, then UPI payment, these are the digital public infrastructure everybody is using. Government is promoting these digital infrastructure, human centric approach, and everything government is promoting. Government is putting all these things into the priority area. That is why everybody is utilizing these Aadhaar, DigiLocker, eKYC, everybody is utilizing. This is helping in the financial inclusion, and India is moving toward a technologically led development. So this has been utilized in all the places like agriculture, education, and whatever the field you can think of it. So these are the priority areas, and India will be promoting these priority area in the coming G20 summit. Okay. So guys, this is all for today. If there is any question that is there with you, please let me know. Otherwise, please join the Oliveboard regulatory exam. We have a Telegram channel. You can just check on the descriptive box. You will be able to see that. Okay, you will be able to download the YouTube class PDF updates from there. Descriptive box, there is a link in that. Okay, then regulatory app we have created for all of you. You can download that app from the App Store. Link is there in the descriptive box. And check our regulatory courses. Very, very beautiful courses we have designed. Okay, so make sure that you do all these things. And always remember, where there is a will, there is a way. Okay. There will be RBI examination. There will be RBI examination. It is just like that. It is just round the corner. We just can expect the date anytime. You can expect the date anytime. Okay, you can expect the date anytime. So I hope everybody has liked the session, and those people, next week I think we'll be coming out for some more important topics with that. And please let us know how you have liked the session, because on your popularity, the way you are um giving the love to this session, then only we will be able to continue this. So make sure that you provide the better feedback, good feedback, bad feedback, whatever you wanted to provide, you can just give it to that, and based on that we will decide whether we have to continue this or not. And if you think that we can do any kind of improvement in that, that also are welcome. So thank you so much. Bye bye, take care, and good night.